Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devil Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, even leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Anthony Tochi, joined
you are.
on this wonderful Wednesday by Shane Diefenbach and Shawn DePaz.
Yeah,
Shane, welcome back.
Yeah, it happened again.
Yeah, you kept the alive.
This time after the fact. Every time I miss a show, somebody transfers. So hopefully I don't have any prior conflicts.
Ever again.
Yeah. Because that's not fun. As Josh says, we are inside, and we are indeed inside. Hopefully to be back outside, which is the studio, which is also inside soon. Yep. Time to go. Fire me up. Rally me. I'm ready to watch a hockey game later. That's what I'm most excited for.
I feel like because of the DNVR, we are all Avalanche fans tonight. Is that correct?
Ooh. You see
because of DNVR, yes. Because of my wallet, no.
Yes, you see.
Oh, you're going Lightning,
Mr. Totis. We're both on Lightning.
Wow, I'm on Avalanche tonight.
If you ventured to watch the PHNX Daily Bet Show every Monday through Friday at noon, right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, you would have seen that. But unfortunately, you're a fraud and you don't like your friends.
And let's just keep this between the three of us and however many people end up watching this. I'm kind of rooting for the Lightning.
Whoa! Don't say that.
I want DNVR. I want for the DNVR for all city. I want the Avalanche to win, but huge Stamkos fan, and I love dynasties.
You're getting fired.
From a pure hockey standpoint, I want the Avs to win, but again, fiscally, financially, for my wallet, as I've said multiple times, I've had a future on the Avalanche and the Lightning for a long time now, for about a month and a half, on the Lightning to beat the Avs in the Cup. Plus 1,400, gave that out on the DraftKings or on the PHNX Daily Bets every Monday through Friday at noon, right on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You would have seen that. Also, I have Vasilevsky to win the Conn Smythe at plus 1,400 or 1,200. So
I have him at plus 400. Yeah. I also chose the Lightning to win it all in the PHNX Coyotes little Stanley Cup.
I looked at this. I looked at the screenshot of that. My bracket is effed. My God.
I haven't looked back at it. I probably should. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. But also, if you watch PHNX Coyotes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
this is just a promo for all the the show that promos the others.
The entire PHNX Coyotes crew also chose the Lightning. So I feel like a lot of people are just having a tough time choosing against a Lightning team that's won 2 straight months.
Well, regardless what happens, as Eric Clapton said, other way, it's going to be the game is going to be wonderful tonight.
Okay. Eric Clapton. Let's hope so. Sure. Hey, just like the NBA Finals, I just want some competitive action. So hopefully the Lightning and the Avalanche at least keep it close. Yeah. Whoever wins. It's only game 1. We'll see what happens.
I didn't buy my shirt. We're getting a little Scandy on the show.
No, I was
already just 4 minutes
comment.
In.
LTC's comment: drove a Sevy Avalanche once. Meh.
Never rooted for the Avalanche. That car was mid. Are those really big trucks? Yeah, they are. Those really weird looking ones.
Yeah.
Avalanches.
They're not big, but they have they're the ones with kind of the diagonal bars.
Yeah. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Meh, for sure. Sorry if you have a Chevy Avalanche.
I kind of like them.
I'm assuming our demographic isn't mainly Chevy Avalanche owners, but
how do you determine that based off?
Yeah, what kind of cars is our ownership?
I'm curious as to where you got that from.
This is a college beat. I would assume a lot of our listeners are in college still. And the Avalanche is, I guess trucks are just expensive, and it doesn't really make sense for gas right now to have one.
I feel like this is a Ford Taurus pod.
Hell yeah, it's a Ford Taurus pod.
Totally. It's definitely not an Emma's car pod because that thing is broken.
Yeah. If it's college students, it might be an Emma's car pod.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Emma's
Ford
car is
Fusion
broken.
hybrid gang, rise up.
Emma's car is broken, and so is ASU softball. ASU softball, as of yesterday,
is it still
2 more pitchers? 2 more pitchers.
I was looking. It is 5.5 minutes into the show, and we are now talking about ASU.
There we go. Yeah. So ASU softball kind of broken. Lots of transfers. Still without a head coach. We all know they lost Trisha Ford a couple weeks ago to Texas A&M. We've been promoting none other than Brady Vernon, D1 softball writer. Who we spoke with a little bit earlier today, and he gave us some great insight as to what's going on around the program and some really interesting stuff as it relates to Trisha Ford and when she left for Texas A&M. Let's take a look. Joined now by Brady Vernon of D1 Softball. Brady, thanks so much for taking the time this afternoon.
For having me.
Of course. First and foremost, obviously the last couple of weeks for ASU softball has kind of spiraled a little bit out of control, starting with the loss of head coach Trisha Ford. Just kind of what went into her leaving for Texas A&M?
Well, after ASU lost to Northwestern, things kind of just transpired where A&M kind of struck out on their first three choices. And so I think they got a little bit desperate and really wanted to get this head coaching search over. And obviously they saw what Trisha had done at ASU, and instead of being at the College World Series, Ford ended up taking a trip to A&M in the campus. I think she visited during A&M baseball's regional. And I think when she saw all the facilities, the environment of the 12th man, and obviously probably a much bigger paycheck than what she was getting at A&M, I think that really persuaded her to take the job. And then we end up seeing Jeff Harger go with her. And since then, we've seen like half the roster now has entered the transfer portal. And whether or not they end up in College Station with her is still need to see. But that was kind of the biggest thing. Once you see those SEC facilities, Davis Diamond there is probably the best SEC college softball stadium, to be honest. And they just put like millions and millions of dollars into it. And I think just the press box alone has 6 different booths in it, which you've seen Farrington. Yeah, it's kind of an upgrade.
So you talked about facilities, and obviously this is like David versus Goliath when it comes to Pac-12 minor sports against SEC sports like this. What do you think ASU can really do anything in this situation? Do you think they're neglecting at all, or is this just kind of how things are in terms of Pac-12 versus SEC?
I don't think they could have done anything about this. Like I said, I think A&M being desperate kind of just, and I don't want to say desperate like Ford was their like 4th choice. She was probably one of the best 4th choices you could get out there. Yeah. The thing is, it is kind of a Pac-12 thing. If you guys ever go look at UCLA softball stadium, it's not the stadium you would think that the school that has the most national championships have. It's all of them probably need to be upgraded except for the one in Tucson, and that one just got upgraded and it looks beautiful. But like, that's the thing is, and it all comes back from the major sports money and just what boosters want to do. But I mean, I almost said it as a joke to a few of my friends when we were talking about ASU sports a couple of weeks ago before this was even kind of rumored, was that if ASU wasn't careful and like didn't like start getting kind of contract negotiations, like A&M could miss out and start calling, and by the time she gets the phone call, she'll be gone just based on like what they can match. And it ended up happening, which I think I got kind of yelled at for putting into the world.
So we can blame you for her leaving, apparently, right?
That or
so
many questions over the last 6 years.
So outside of, obviously we talked about the facilities and all that kind of stuff, when it comes to just kind of the roster outlook and the programs, the on-field performance, how does A&M compare to ASU? Is her going to A&M, does that put her any closer, any further to obviously achieving her ultimate goal of winning a College World Series, or are they kind of on a similar playing field?
Currently, their team is still kind of young. They have a lot of good recruits, but it's kind of recruiting themselves. Their best player is probably Haley Lee, who's a phenomenal hitter. She can play catcher, first base. They're a little weak in the circle. A lot of their innings came from freshmen. It's not a roster right now that could compete. They were probably one of the last five teams into this tournament. But they're gonna get teams. They have a good recruiting class coming in. But I mean, ASU's roster, how it was and how it's going to be next year, was going to be better than A&M's. And like in the grand scheme of it, if you look at how the Pac-12 is laid out right now, ASU had a good chance to be the favorite for the Pac-12 next year. And the issue is that it's going to be an uphill climb at A&M, because not only are you joining a very strong conference, you're joining it when Texas and Oklahoma, who are both just in the national title series, are both joining it. And so I mean, it's going to be hard, but I mean, if you look around and what she was able to do at ASU, you give her all the money, you give her NIL stuff to work with, you give her the facilities. I think there's a good chance that A&M could be a team that hosts every year, which that ultimately lets you try to win a national championship every single year.
Definitely. Kind of looking back toward the ASU side of things, I know you reported yesterday, Mac Morgan, Marissa Schold entered the portal. That's all 4 pitchers for ASU. Obviously, we saw Christiana Watson before Trisha Ford had entered the portal. Is there anyone else that you're hearing is on the verge? We've already seen Alina Torres. Could we see Yanni Acuna? Could we see Jazz Hill? Kind of where are they standing on things?
At this point, like, I would just assume that everyone is really thinking about it. And especially someone like a Sydney Sanders, she'll get a call from probably every coach in America for how good she was. Unfortunately, this is looking a lot like the 2018 Oregon situation. For those that are unfamiliar, the now head coach at Texas was the longtime coach at Oregon. They were the #1 overall seed in the tournament. They lost in Oklahoma City. And he wanted a pay raise because they had been top 3 seed like numerous years in a row. And Oregon refused to give it to him. So Texas bought him out, and probably 10-ish players left the Oregon roster, went to him with Texas. Others went different places. And it was like 15, 18 players left that roster, and Oregon was decimated. They didn't make the postseason the next year. And there was points where they had open tryouts for kids. And the longer that there isn't an Arizona State coach, the longer that I don't really know how you field a competitive Division I roster if everyone starts leaving. And it's if you lose all 4 pitchers, like, you're gonna have to go find 3 in the portal. You're gonna have to convince kids that this is a kind of a rebuild situation. And so, as an ASU fan, unless you hear otherwise, I would assume that people are considering leaving. It's probably a lot harder for someone that is like Yanni Acuna because it is her last year. She is a Arizona native, but I mean, you have to do what's best for yourself too in this type of situation. And so I guess we'll see. The 2 I probably wouldn't be shocked to enter next, if they enter, would probably be Jasmine Hill or Sydney Sanders, because I would assume that not only would A&M be very interested in those 2, especially Sanders, but I mean, you would probably even see like Oklahoma consider Sydney Sanders because they need another power bat in the first base.
Have you heard anything about coaches? Where do you go from here if you're ASU? Where do you even start? I know players are a huge part of it, but you don't have a coach. What are you doing here if you're ASU?
You're gonna have to really talk someone into it, and that's the thing, is like, I don't think they're going to be able to pull from another Power 5 school head coach. It's probably going to be an assistant, or I personally believe that Jimmy Kalidis, the other assistant coach, would be a great fit because he is a great recruiter. He knows everyone, so he'd be able to make a good staff. But for what it is, I don't think that's going to happen because the Pac-12 takes a lot of pride that all 9 teams are led by women, and I don't think ASU wants to ruin that. A few people who I personally think would be great candidates. Sydney Ball Malone at UCF. She used to be the head coach of Boise State, has a West Coast background, from the West Coast. She did a tremendous job. They hosted this year, the first non-Power 5 host in like 6 years. If ASU fans are up to it, there's a former Wildcat, Christy Fox, who's the UNLV head coach. She's done really, really good. She should be considered, but that's the thing, is like, would Sydney Ball Malone leave UCF for kind of a rebuilding project here after coming off the school's best year? And so that's why I think they might have to go the assistant route, which then you're getting into very, very kind of cloudy waters, because you don't see that a ton in softball where like the assistants are hired. It does work out for some teams. Primarily like Oklahoma State's Kenny Gajewski came from the Florida staff. I think one name, I can't ever remember her name correctly, but the Arkansas hitting coach is someone that a lot of people look up to. And even Brianna Maha suggested her on Twitter, which was a really good person that I didn't even think about. But I haven't definitely heard anything, which might be the scariest part about this, is I don't know how in-depth ASU truly is looking and like how much effort they put into this, and they really should be, because obviously a lot of people care about this program.
Yeah.
So I mean, you touched on it a little bit. If obviously it's a little bit of wishful thinking at this point, but if no one else leaves this program, obviously they're still without a single pitcher on the roster. What kind of the recruiting class coming in next year? How many spots are they going to fill if everyone does end up staying and follow through on their commitments? And if again they do keep everyone that is currently here, how competitive can they be in obviously a very solid Pac-12 conference?
Off the top of my head, from the 4-girl class, the one that is a pitcher is Kylie Maggie, who a lot of sites do have as a top 10 overall recruit in this class. She's very, very good. And obviously it helps to be, I think it's a step niece of Dallas Esposito. My goodness. But it's the thing is, like, for as much as you lose in the transfer portal, there's 600 plus names that have entered since 2022 started. And you would have to work that. There's plenty of arms. And it changes every single day. Like even yesterday, Oregon lost their ace, Yanez, to the transfer portal. And you can find people. And it's like, if the team, how it currently is, and it's truth be told, like the other girls can still come back. They're not fully gone for sure. But it's not going to be a Pac-12 winning title team if the people that are in the transfer portal leave, and you have to go find pitchers to like kind of build a staff around, because then you have to find girls that match each other and complement each other. You're probably not going to find like a number one ace that carries for 200 plus innings. And that's the hardest thing, because if you go back to that Oregon roster from 2019, one girl pitched 250 innings, which was about 80% of the innings that year. And the girl that pitched the second most quit the team halfway through the year. 2 different position players had to pitch to even get them through the season.
Jeez.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we'll see obviously what transpires with ASU softball over the next couple of weeks. You mentioned a lot of assistants. You don't think they'll pull from a Power 5 school just because that's a tough sell, potentially more players to enter the portal. Just the last question we've got for you is, how should ASU fans be feeling right now toward administration in regards to this whole ASU softball debacle?
I mean, it's easy to be upset. It really is, especially with everything else that's gone on in this past year in Tempe. But it goes back to the thing is, like, with bonuses, Trisha probably made over $250K. And if you go over that as ASU, I think you would probably be paying more than you pay Willie Bloomquist and stuff. And so is it worth it? Probably, but it goes back to just how much you value Olympic sports and if you really are worth it. I mean, it could have been done, like, possibly, but I just don't think they were going to able to match it, because truth be told, like, Texas A&M is probably a top 10 job in college softball, and they're willing to pay. They've stole from coaches from other top tier programs. It was just, once she got the call, she was probably gone. And I mean, you can be upset about the transfer portal leaving, but this could have happened at any other Pac-12 school. And it goes back to the thing that ASU just isn't like the other Pac-12 schools, because 6 of the head coaches in the Pac-12 softball are alumni. And so they're not going to leave unless it's some crazy offer. Mm-hmm. And could ASU go down that route? Technically, but there's just not ASU alumni really in the coaching field. Bailey Wigness, who was on the 2011 national title team, she's the head coach at Gardner-Webb, but she's only been the head coach there for a year. And so you can be upset at administration, but this was just they had deeper pocket situation, and you got to hope for the best. And maybe that's why it is taking so much longer with the coaching search, is that maybe they're trying to see if they can get alumni incorporated into it. But I mean, yeah, I don't think anything could have been done. I think Texas A&M wanted her. She was going to go. unless she said no for her own reasons.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation. Brady Vernon, D1 Softball. Follow him on social at Brady Vernon. Brady, thanks so much again.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, we talked to Brady a little bit earlier today. Obviously, everything that he had to say, very insightful stuff. What stuck out to you about what he had to say? Like something new. Like obviously, we knew transfers were coming. We knew transfers could potentially still enter the portal. What was it that stuck out to you?
Just the sheer holy hell, who is on this team? When bringing up position players pitching and what they're going to have to do. Yeah, Josh Shawn's going to teach his sister how to fast pitch, so at least they'll have somebody to throw. I mean, it just kind of puts it like in perspective. And also him at the end saying there was really nothing that could have been done. Like, I've been hearing that and I understand that. I don't want to accept it, but you kind of have to at this point. But just because like if somebody takes your toy as a kid because it was theirs, it doesn't mean like it doesn't hurt it just as bad when you found out that nothing could be done. It still sucks. It's not fun. I mean, this sucks. This frankly sucks. And Trisha Ford was a very good toy for ASU to have.
Yeah, I think that just what's the next step? Don't really know. That's like the most concerning part. Like, where are they going to get a coach? There is not an obvious candidate for them to go get. It's not necessarily at this point the most exciting job to have. So that's definitely slightly concerning. Knowing that there is a top 10 pitching recruit coming in who is related to an ASU alumni, that is comforting because it's right. It's kind of like the Yanni Acuna situation. Like there's reasons for her to stay, even if everything else is going wrong. And so hopefully that commitment, she follows through with that commitment. Obviously, if she doesn't, that's no judgment to her. Like, she's fully within her rights to do that, and there's plenty of reason not to. But it is comforting to know that there is at least a little bit of relief coming. And I mean, people are going to want to play at ASU, right? Like, there's going to be transfers. They may not be transfers at the level that ASU would like, but they're going to be transfers. But my biggest takeaway, honestly, is that Danielle Williams is the cause of all of this. If she didn't go crazy and ASU had won that game, maybe Trisha Ford would still be coaching when A&M was looking for their coach, and this would never have happened. That's my.
No, it's the damn blueberry's fault.
It's the
blueberry, the blueberry from hell.
The blueberry, the blueberry from hell. It did emerge from the gutters. It is a Pennywise-esque blueberry.
Goodness.
LTC saying Coach Trish stays in a Ford. Yeah, call her Trisha Ford Explorer because she'd be exploring her options and going to different schools.
Damn. The one thing that was actually pretty good. It was pretty good.
That was terrible, but like in a good way.
No. I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's a better way to describe it. It was terrible, but in a good way. Yeah. Like, so bad that it made me laugh. What stuck out to me, aside from the fact that how quickly Ford had taken a visit to A&M after the softball season had ended. But second was the fact that he mentioned that there's a lot of names in the transfer portal, right? Mm-hmm. Shawn, you brought up potential transfers. There are arms, there are bats there. You are not going to get any of those transfers without a head coach. Yeah. Nobody is committing to ASU until there is a face of this program. And right now it is a giant fucking question mark because nobody knows who's on the roster. Nobody knows who's coaching the team. I mean, when they do, like Brady said, odds are it's not going to be like a household name from a Power 5 school because it's too tough of a sell right now to get that. Yeah. So we talked about the championship window starting literally 3 weeks ago for ASU softball. At this point, he said it. He doesn't even know if they're going to have a roster that they can field for
coach the team.
Division I. Hey, we were talking about it. We were talking about coaching some
and you guys can coach. And I did say I won the Cy Young Award equivalent in my beer league softball league. I was the league leader in strikeouts. I was a DA.
How many years
I had a DA.
You have left?
Oh shit, I don't know. We'll have to talk to Ray, or no, we'll talk to Herm because he can probably weasel something in there. But yeah, championship window. I mean, it's one of those janky windows that you try to open like from the bottom and it closes on your fingers immediately. That's what just happened. Like, it's over. It is over.
It's okay. Shawn and I will coach. You'll be our ace. I can see it now. We're literally in the dugout getting ready to call Shane to relieve somebody, and he's just sitting there. And you know what he's doing, Shawn? In the
Probably drinking
dugout?
4 Peaks.
He's probably drinking 4 Peaks because
The rattle on, so I can get ready to pitch.
Oh, wow. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Is that your new favorite, or is that just like a part-timer?
First time trying the rattle on, actually. So
let's see.
Genuine reaction here on the show.
Well, ASMR.
Mallory. I bet you Mallory is a hell of a pitcher. I could see Mallory.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, that's smooth. Yeah. But it's very expected. It's 4 Peaks. Everything they make is quality.
That's true. It was ASU softball 4 Peaks. Like before the last 3 weeks, they're equals. No,
let's not.
No,
let's
you don't
not
think
compare.
so?
Let's not compare 4 Peaks to ASU anything.
No, I agree with you, Totri.
Yeah,
ASU 4 Peaks is ASU hosting the Tempe Regional ASU softball.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yes, and every other beer is Georgia Clark. Right.
Every other beer is ASU softball right now.
No. Oh my goodness. Well, if you guys want to, if you want to feel great, if you want to look great, if you want to just do everything great, drink 4 Peaks. As Shane takes a sip, I'm glad.
Or Mike's Magic Special Stuff.
Why not? Right now, I felt great since the last time I had one. Just remember,
you don't know what was in that water bottle.
You got it. Wasn't water. Got to be 21 or older. And please enjoy responsibly.
As Josh said in the Suns chat, I'm gonna steal this. He said, "Me and the homies out, or call me Dexter's sister because I'm drinking responsibly because I'm the DD." So, Josh, thank you for that one. I thought that was.
You're not getting us. You're not getting us, R. I appreciate it. But that one's not getting it. Would you have read it, Shane? Would you have read it?
No, I mean, Leah would have because she just put it up on the screen. For the audio listeners, somebody's trying to punk us right now and make us read something out loud. That is not a real name. I just have to bring this comment up before we move on because it was so goddamn funny. Josh Hunt said, "I bought my Ford Fusion Hybrid because of Trisha Ford. I was even going to name my daughter Ford Fusion Hybrid in her honor." I lost my mind at that. So thank you again, Josh, for making me laugh when times are really hard.
Unlucky. Times are always hard here on the ASU beat, but hey, it is what it is. Most of the time. As of late, it's been pretty tough.
Not on the beat to be an ASU fan, but not on the beat. Times are always high. You're drinking 4 Peaks. You're hanging out. It's a good time.
That's true. Well, while you're drinking, let's talk ASU football, or I guess just Pac-12 football in general.
We'll need to do that.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of drinking when you're talking about ASU football this year, I'm sure.
Watching, talking, anything ASU football related, you probably should have a 4 Peaks brew in your hand. But we've got some way too early Pac-12 power rankings. I'm curious to see where you guys have some of the teams. Let's pull up the graphic. It's kind of consensus from you guys to have Utah at 1, and then I've got USC. We kind of across the board consensus, just 1 and 2. Oregon split at 3. UCLA across the board at 4. And Shawn, you're kind of outlier here with Oregon State at 5.
Yeah. By the way, I messed up. Shane also had USC.
I was gonna look back. Yeah.
Oh, you had USC at 1?
Yeah, I have USC.
Okay, bet.
I was alone in the Utah. But what? Sorry, what did you just say?
Why do you have Oregon State at 5? I'm just curious.
I mean, they got to a bowl game last year. I just think that they are. When you look at the other teams there, like the teams that I have below them, they're just either bad or have too many question marks. I think Oregon State had the most kind of like continuity with their team. And so that's kind of also why I have Utah 1. It's kind of based on a thing like what I've seen versus an expectation kind of thing. The USC experiment and I guess now the ASU experiment can go a lot of different ways. So I just didn't feel too confident in putting them above an Oregon State or Utah, depending on which team we're talking about. So that's kind of why they ended up at 5. But honestly, like you could see in ours, like the 5 through 7 is kind of interchangeable.
Oregon State is the school I struggled with the most because, as Shawn said, there's continuity. But the continuity is you're bringing back a pretty good offense and a very, very questionable defense. And I think you're going to need defense to win in this conference. Aside from ASU,
Nice.
I put ASU up at 5 just because of there's a ton of question marks after the 4 spot. I mean, obviously, as you see, we all have the same top 4. after the 4 spot, you have 5 through 8, I would say, which are all kind of interchangeable. But in my optimism, I guess you could say, I have faith that Emory Jones can be the best quarterback out of those 5 schools. I think he will be. And quarterback's the most important position in softball. And there's a lot of talk to be had about softball. See where my brain's at? It would be. But with what you're talking about in terms of where these teams are going to end up at the end of the year, a lot of what has been said about ASU is its defense, and it's talked about to death how bad the secondary is. I just don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. So that's why I have them at 5.
Yeah, I think it kind of fits the flow of the show that Shane has ASU at 5, Shawn has ASU at 6, and I've got ASU at 7. I think that kind of speaks for itself. We're all kind of across the board. They're going to be a middle of the pack team. I think best case scenario, they're a 5. And I think probably worst case scenario, they're probably hovering around the 8 spot, depending on injuries, depending on how the team meshes.
I think it can get a lot worse than that, Toti.
You think?
Uh-huh.
You think 9, 10? I don't think they're worse than Colorado, and I do not think they're worse than you.
I think 10 is where they can end up, but I don't think they will.
I think 9 is probably their basement. I think if you look at the rankings, I think Washington is just going to be a train wreck of a team this year. Obviously, I have them.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, pull them up again. Where did you have Washington?
I had them at 10, I believe. You look at their, everyone, we always talk about ASU when they're recruiting. Oh, it's it's so bad, blah, blah, blah. The only school in the conference that have a worse recruiting class than ASU is Washington. And Washington did not have a good season last year. They went 4-8. And they didn't do anything to get really better.
Yeah, but a lot of people.
They did. Excuse me. They brought in Michael Penix Jr. from Indiana.
Yeah,
it was a solid quarterback 2 years ago. Not so much last year. So again, it's kind of just the question. I don't know what this team is going to be, and they weren't good last year.
I thought they were the biggest underperformer in the Pac-12 last year. Washington, I really did. I thought they were going to be pretty good. They kind of picked it up toward the end of the year. They played a little bit better. I just don't think they're even close to a 4-8 team this year. I think they're levels above Cal and Stanford, but we'll see.
Yeah, the quarterback talent in this conference is going to be very interesting.
It's so weird, dude.
You look at the quarterbacks. Just you got Cameron Rising, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Dorian. What's his name? Dorian Thompson
Robinson. You just call him DTR.
DTR in UCLA. Obviously, Emory Jones. Washington State has Cameron Ward, the incarnate word transfer. Jeez. Michael Penix Jr., who was at one point, he's kind of like a Jaden Daniels situation. After 2 seasons ago, people were he was could have been a Heisman quarterback, and he just fell off.
Cal's got a transfer quarterback in from Purdue. I believe it's Jake Plummer's son.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see when conference play gets started. I'm not so interested to see how any team after 4 faces that top competition, because I don't think it's going to be relatively close between Utah, USC, Oregon, and UCLA. I am interested to see, though, how the middle of the pack, if there can be some consistency there. I am totally okay with ASU being a middle of the pack team this season and next season, but being consistent in their performance against teams that are of par or at the same level of them. I don't really care what happens in the USC, Utah, Oregon, UCLA. We understand those games aren't or shouldn't be, in theory, close games. You never know what happens in the Pac-12. However,
they're winning one of those.
We'll see. There's a bet.
This USC experiment could end up going very poorly. That offense is going to be deadly, but I do not know what the defense is.
Okay,
it could.
We can make the bet, but it can't be anything with my hair because I'm finally cutting the blonde off tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wow. I think at this point it's going to be weird for me to see you without blonde hair.
Good. I want to make you uncomfortable.
You do that enough by grabbing my arm on the show.
What are you talking about,
brother?
Shawn?
I forgot to mention, back to the Oregon State thing. Oregon State is the only team in the conference last year to beat Cam Rising in Utah.
That was such a weird game, though.
Plus, it's
forget.
Corvallis. It's the PNW is the hardest place in the conference to play.
If you're ASU, Corvallis is scary. If you're other teams, it's not.
No, but I mean,
it's
if
just
you have,
Corvallis.
it's not. Well, it's not Corvallis alone, but the Pacific Northwest, like teams do not beat all the teams in the Pacific Northwest. No one does. So it is. I think they're going to win some games. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that back out there. It was a little tidbit I forgot.
Well, those are our way too early power rankings. You can actually go onto the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and actually place a bet as to who you think is going to win the conference. I believe USC is the favorite at plus 200 something. I'm hammering that. I'm hammering USC at plus odds.
Real quick about DraftKings, did you know that we have pull and we could hit up our homies at DraftKings and have them put lines up?
Saul pulled that out the other day, and I was just like, "Bro, what? How did we not know that?"
So Saul is getting the DeAndre Ayton to go to what team odds up on DK tomorrow. They're going to be up tomorrow because we can request things. So, yeah.
I need Emory Jones.
Nothing crazy.
I need Emory Jones Heisman odds.
We need that. That's understandable. Why does Jaden Daniels have odds and Emory Jones doesn't?
Speaking of Heisman odds, though, I don't know if he does, but Bo Nix, it's another reason why this conference is going to be interesting. If Bo Nix is playing the best football he can, he could be a Heisman quarterback, and Oregon can win this conference.
I really like Oregon this year.
I don't, because Bo Nix could also end up being like the worst quarterback in the conference.
But that makes it so fun.
He was like, I think they statistically proved that he was like the most inconsistent quarterback in the Power Five. Like the
that's awesome.
The variations.
That's so electric.
It's electric, not when you're trying to win 12 games.
Yeah,
that is very true. Like I said, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. You can place a bet on college football, but more importantly, if you're a new customer, there's a great offer going on the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. And if you use promo code PHNX, you can make any $5 bet during the NBA Finals and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for more details. Guys, last thing before we get out of here is we've got another on the clock snake draft because it is Wednesday. Today we are going to be drafting villains and antagonists from movies, TV shows, and I am really freaking excited for this one for some reason. My draft board goes like 20 people deep, so I'm really excited for this one.
I go first, right? Because
So you won.
Dog walked y'all in the last draft.
Yeah, you won. So you will go first.
That'd have been good if it was the dog draft that you were talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Nice. So I will go third, which means Shane will go second. Are we gonna?
I came in last.
You came in last.
Gosh darn it! Yeah, we are sticking to this. So what? We got to figure this out now.
Chat, help us out.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, punishment for last place in the poll. What are something on the show that's not like appearance
or something we can film.
Yeah, not appearance altering, please. I'm not dyeing my hair again.
I think the loser of this draft, we go to a.
Oh God.
I'm trying to think what we should do. We should
on location.
Go to a high school track.
No.
And you what?
Already done.
Well, no, I'm interested, Totri.
Go to a high school track and you can't leave until you run a sub 10-minute mile. That's not that difficult.
Oh, I thought you were saying go to a high school track meet.
That would also be electric.
Wait, sub 10-minute mile?
Sub 10-minute mile.
You have to run a mile, though. That's a terrible
punishment.
And you can't leave until. What do you mean?
No.
Okay, what Leah loser has to wear U of A.
No, this is an ASU show. That's not punishment for one person. That's punishment for everybody.
That is very true.
Josh, they have to reenact a famous scene from one of the villains chosen by the two winners. That is it. That's what's happening. Live on Wednesday, the loser of the poll has to, or live on Friday. We'll do this we might not be in the studio. Next time we're in studio, this will happen. So. Okay. Whoever wins gets to choose the villain, and that's happening. We're doing that.
Okay.
Virtual shake.
100% down.
Virtual shake. Put your hands closer, guys. Come on.
Imagine tuning in just to that right now.
We just lost 2 viewers.
100%. Without further ado, Shawn DePaz is on the clock.
Darth Vader. Darth Vader. I feel like this is an obvious number one overall. I'm not even a big Star Wars guy, and before you say I'm pandering, I think that goes to show how great of a villain he is. That even I know that Darth Vader is one of the most kick-ass villains of all time.
I don't think he's number one, though. I think that was a miss.
I thought he was number one.
It's the Joker.
Joker was the one.
Yeah,
the Joker was the other one I was considering, but Darth Vader is.
Thank you for letting him slip to me.
The top three, I think, in my assessment, I think it's like there's three that are like 1A, there's 1B, and then everybody else is kind of a free-for-all. With Vader and the Joker off the board, I got to go Thanos. I feel like that's the obvious pick there. And then I'm coming back. I'm going to go Lord Voldemort.
That's a great one.
I feel like
that was the fourth one.
Yeah, that's what I'm like 1, 2, 3, and then Voldemort, and then everybody else is just kind of based off of what you guys think.
Whew, okay, this is tough. I don't know if I should pander or just do it. I think I'm just gonna do the damn thing. Give me. There's so many ways to go.
I'm gonna be really upset if you take one that I've got. I've had my eye on one for weeks.
I've had my eye on ones for weeks too.
That's great audio.
I know, it's really good. Give me Freddy Krueger.
Oh, you bastard! That's what I was thinking. Toshi, I'm gonna be real upset if you take mine.
You're up.
Yeah, you're up.
You're up.
No, I picked 2. You're up.
Yeah, I went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Josh, by the way.
Okay, so
Josh in the comments saying, counter argument, Voldemort lost multiple times to a baby and then 11-year-old.
Listen, that's like the most powerful baby ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Fact. Okay. This is one that came to mind as soon as we went here, or as soon as we brought this up. I got to go with Ivan Drago from the Rocky movies. The Russian, especially when you put it in the context of the time, it's just a kick-ass villain. And then to come back, Freddy Krueger was when I was thinking. So I'm going to stay in that similar like horror movie vein. Yeah. And I'm going to go Chucky. Chucky doll is so iconic. I just feel like it is. It's a baby doll.
There's Nick Castellanos swinging a miss.
Nick Castellanos only drives home runs to left center field,
but only during very important moments.
Inappropriate times.
And this is not one. I don't know why you went there. I don't know why you didn't go Jason Voorhees. That's where I'm going. That's a better horror villain from there.
Oh, wow. I love that you guys are going horror villains because it's leaving everybody else for me.
Go ahead.
Give me one of the most underrated villains of all time. Give me Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mid.
I think mid? Are you kidding me? Davy Jones is one of the best villains ever.
He's too nice.
Davy fucking Jones? I'm not talking the SpongeBob Davy Jones.
I know
I'm talking the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I can't take anybody seriously if they have got tentacles hanging off their face, okay? It's not happening for me. Doesn't scare me. Doesn't do much for me.
You can't take...
Those movies aren't scary. They're just a joke.
You just said you couldn't take him serious. You drafted the Joker. This man has paint on his face.
I don't hate the pick. I don't hate the pick. You could have gotten it later, I think, but I don't hate the pick.
Okay. With my fourth pick, give me... Oof. This is a tough one. But he was the villain of my childhood. Give me Plankton from SpongeBob.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
That is a very good one. All right, I'm going to get into some of my favorite movies. And basically the only reason why I'm drafting these is because of the ways the actors portrayed them. Anton from No Country for Old Men. That is one of the most harrowing villains I've ever seen in a movie, with his little cattle prod or the cattle gun that shoots out air. This is just for me, but I'm taking that.
Fair enough.
I have two. I'm going to go a little off the deep end here. That was what?
Never mind. You don't know. Never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm going to go a little off the deep end. And I did not, when I said that, I didn't mean it as a pun, but it is quite punny. Nice. I'm going the shark from Jaws.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm just going to kind of go on iconic here. But it's a shark. It's a giant shark. It's fucking dope. And then I'm going with one super, super close to my heart, and I mean that literally. Shigo.
Oh,
Absolute.
what, dude? She is so bad.
Yeah, Shigo. That one's just for me. That one's just right here.
So does that round out your team?
Yes.
Okay. Shane, you are up.
Josh said it in the comments. I want to take him. Christopher Waltz, Hans Beck, or whatever. That is such a good villain. But that's again just like based on that. There's no history behind that, kind of like there's Anton Older, but I don't know. It's another thing with the movie. This is so hard. I'm gonna have to pander for my last pick. I think Christopher Waltz's character in the movie is one of the best villains ever, but I just don't think it's gonna get votes. So let me go Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. You have no idea who that is, do you, Shawn?
I've never watched Lord of the Rings. Is that the giant eye thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised you went with that one instead of Gollum.
I don't think Gollum's the same way as Davy Jones for me. There's too many funny like moments because of how he looks. Like I'm not scared of him. He's a little tiny fucking. I'm gonna kick him.
Okay.
Yeah.
For my last pick here,
God, you have one more
to round up the draft. I'm gonna take Scar from Lion King.
That's a tremendous one.
Another childhood villain.
That is a great pick, Totri.
Totri's just
before we go back.
I hate how you draft so much. I hate it because you
Why?
draft for the people, and it's the worst.
I love those.
No, that's a good pick.
It's a good pick. It's a fantastic pick, but it's exemplified by why we're drafting.
Kind of going off what Leah had to say. These are some of the other prospects I had on my board that went undrafted. Loki, the Grinch, Megatron, Green Goblin, Killmonger, Gollum, Agent Smith from The Matrix, Emperor Palpatine, General Grievous, Alonzo Harris from Training Day, White Goodman from Dodgeball, and then a personal favorite, Swiper from Door.
Wow.
Yes.
Swiper is outside the box, my God.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz was on.
Oh, that was another good one that I could drafted.
We should have narrowed this down from cartoons to cartoons next week.
Yeah, that could have been 2 drafts.
Leah, can you bring up your own list for 1 second? So I will say Michael Myers is a great one, but me and Shawn had this conversation, right? Just kill the guy.
Yeah. The movies are terrible.
Kill the guy. So he's off for that. Palpatine can't have 2 Star Wars villains in the same draft, in my opinion. Hans Gruber from 007 or Die Hard, good one. But her bringing up the alien is so hypocritical or so fake because I made her watch it for the first time ever, like a month ago, and she wants to be like, "Oh, come on, the alien! You don't like the alien like that." All right, I just had to get on my soapbox.
You calling her an alien normie?
Yeah, she's an alien normie. That's for damn sure.
Do you guys believe in aliens?
A good one.
Do I believe in aliens? Yeah. Whoa.
Hello.
What? Say your piece, Leah.
Leah just came on just to shake her head at you, bro.
I can see her already.
Oh my gosh. Let's go over who was drafted just to do a little recap.
I don't remember mine.
Shawn,
I had Darth Vader, Chucky, I had Darth Vader, Ivan Drago, Chucky, the shark from Jaws, and Shigo. Shigo is going to be such a miss for people, but
I like the Jaws pick though. I didn't have that one.
Thank you.
Who do you have, Shane?
Shit, that was a minute ago.
He had the Joker. He had Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees,
Sauron, and
the dude from
yeah.
Okay, I got Thanos, Voldemort, Davy Jones, Plankton, and Scar.
Dude, your team is kind of a wagon. I can't even.
Coach's teams are always wagons
but they never win. I never win, man.
I wish I had more. I wish I prepared for these more because Totri is just goated at preparing for these, and I'm just not.
Totri and I put in the work.
Yeah, I don't.
Especially, but
the
work doesn't always translate. The work doesn't always translate. I had a better draft board than anybody on the name draft, and I got destroyed.
Yeah, it is what it is. You'll be able to vote on who you guys think had the best list of villains / antagonists on our social at PHNX Sun Devils. Give us a follow while you're over there. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow Shane at Shane Deef. You can follow Shawn DePause at Shawn_DePause.
Villainous
Villainous
as
as
always.
always.
There we go.
What'd you say?
I said, I knew you were going to say that, so I just said it underneath you.
Dear God. If you enjoyed the content, again, go give us a follow and head over to gophnx.com while you're at it. And when you become a member of the family, you're going to get either a free t-shirt from the locker or your first month for 50 cents just for signing up. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will have an audio show for you guys on Thursday. But for now, peace.